Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. No more lessons and so.
Well, a very good morning, folks, and welcome to another day in our daily devotional series as we go through Christopher Ash's book, Repeat the Sounding Joy. Today's reading is from Luke chapter 2, verses 33 to 35, and it's going to be read by Eleanor Kirkwood. So over to you, Eleanor.
Luke chapter 2, verses 33 to 35. The child's mother and father marveled at what was said about him. Then Simeon blessed them and said to Mary his mother, "This child is destined to cause the falling and rising of many in Israel, and to be a sign that will be spoken against, so that the thoughts of many hearts will be revealed. And a sword will pierce your own soul too."
The story of Simeon ends on a very strange note, perhaps even a somber note. You can imagine that he's met this young couple and he's cradled their beautiful baby in his arms, and he's rejoicing because he has seen the Messiah. God has been true to his word. But we leave the scene with a sense of poignancy, like a shadow is cast over this scene. Pause to consider what Simeon says. 4 things in essence. Firstly, that this child is destined to cause the rising and the falling of many in Israel. This child will bring people down. This child will humble people. And only when they have been humbled will they be raised again to life. He will cause some to die and some to be raised up. But their rising can only come after being brought low. So it is in his lifetime, and so it is today. Jesus is still humbling sinners today, and he's still bringing newness of life to Christians all over the world. Secondly, Simeon tells Mary that her son will be a sign that will be spoken against. And this proved to be true in Jesus' lifetime, didn't it? He was very much a sign, showing people what God is like, revealing the Father's heart to people, pointing men and women to God the Father. But right at the start of Jesus' public ministry, people spoke against this sign. People spoke against him. They slandered him. They opposed him bitterly, dishonestly, maliciously. They said that what he did and the miracles that he worked were by the power of the devil. They despised him, they maligned him, and ultimately they mocked him and crucified him. And he indeed was a sign that was spoken against. But Simeon also says that he will reveal the hearts of many. The thoughts of many hearts will be revealed. And that is what Jesus does. He reveals people's hearts. He will do a work that reveals and changes the human heart. See, you and I have many strategies for disguising the deepest thoughts and intentions and motives and desires of our hearts. We disguise them even from ourselves at times. The human heart is deep and deceitful. But this boy, this baby, will peel back the disguises, the hypocrisies. He will expose the pretenses of our hearts. But not only that, he will change our hearts. He will give us a new heart, a heart that is soft and tender towards God, a heart that delights in truth. And so Simeon looks at Mary in the eye, and he says to this hopeful young mother, "A sword will pierce your own soul too." Now think what Mary would have had to have gone through as a witness to the crucifixion. This baby child, this miracle baby which she loved more than anything else on the earth, would one day hang on a cross. You cannot imagine the grief and the sorrow of this woman. She would witness a Roman crucifixion in all of its brutality, in all of its ugliness. The shame of it, the nakedness of it. She would witness the sun go dark. She would feel the shake of the earth, and indeed a sword pierced her own heart. And that's because that the work that Jesus will do will come at such a cost, at such an unbearable cost. You see, he can only become the light of the world by entering into our darkness. And so Jesus' life on earth, right from the veriest early days, we see the shadow of the cross looming large in the background. And the Christian life is principally one of joy, but it is also one of suffering. It is also one of pierced hearts. Therefore, don't be surprised that obedience is costly in this life, that letting go of past grievances and walking in the way of forgiveness can be difficult and can be a real struggle. But light shines in the darkness, and our sufferings are the sufferings of Christ. His light shines in the world, and if we are to pick up our crosses and follow him, then we too will suffer in this life. That's all for today's devotional. Tune back in tomorrow when we'll be looking at day 22.